Funding for Greater Chattanooga is provided by EPB Fiber Optics and Kelly Subaru.
Digital fabrication labs are really revolutionary maker spaces.
The place where you can come and really make anything.
They are places where students can solve problems.
It's a space for learning. It's a space for failure.
You can have an idea and put it, make it real.
If you want to read a book, you'll go to the library, but if you want to be on a computer and create stuff and make stuff that you could never think is possible, you would go to the E-Lab.
It's basically all about creating new ideas.
The door is just completely open to these kids as far as what they can do and what they can create.
Digital fabrication labs bring advanced technology to the classroom so that students are empowered to use computer-controlled tools to create basically anything they can imagine. In 2014, the STEM School Chattanooga opened the first Fab Lab in the state of Tennessee, and it really changed how students engaged in the learning process.
They set the model that the Fab Lab wasn't just to make stuff, that it was for problem-based learning.
We noticed it empowered students not just to have access to incredible technology, but with access to this technology, they were able to engage in complex problem solving. They were demonstrating what critical thinking really looks like, what it means to be productive collaborators as they were making these remarkable products and solutions and prototypes in the problem solving process. Volkswagen Group of America took interest in the work and recognized that they thought they could invest in this model where a rising tide lifts all boats. They wanted to bring access to students across the entire district. So they partnered with the state of Tennessee, Department of Economic and Community Development, Hamilton County Schools, and the Public Education Foundation. And through, at the time, $1 million grant, we worked with them to open 16 Fab Labs, digital fabrication labs, over the next 2 school years.
We were asked as schools that we could apply for a VWE lab. And I remember when the email came out, I ran to my principal and I was like, we have to do this, and can I be this person? Because I want to work in here.
It was an opportunity to really fully integrate what it is we're doing academically with something that's more tangible. So it was really a dream come true for me to be able to step into that role and help us kind of figure out how to make learning more meaningful for kids.
What we realize is that we have the highest concentration of Fab Labs in educational institutions of anywhere in the world, right here in Hamilton County.
As the Volkswagen E-Labs took root and really started a movement in our community, labs began popping up all over the district. And now in 2019-20, Dr. Brian Johnson announced that the district has fully bought in and they're now working to open even more labs and make it part of what it means to be a student in Hamilton County.
You know, one of the things we talk about a lot is expecting excellence. And so the reality around that culture of excellence that we're working to develop is this is a resource that is right when you're talking about meeting the diverse needs of all learners. And so when we got to a place to be able to say, let's add a few more, that's exactly what we did.
Next year, we should have 25 digital fabrication labs in our schools. And that doesn't make us just more educational facilities in the world. That makes us have more Fab Labs than any other place in the world. And it's not just about having them though, right? We've got people in them and kids are learning from them. So that's what's making them transformative.
What you can do to just make sure you got things wired correctly, if you hit the on button, you should have some lights light up when you are doing Nano, okay?
For decades, the goal of school has been to develop students who had a level of content mastery, the basics, right? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. What we've learned though is students also need to develop sort of process skills. They need to be productive collaborators. They need to be critical thinkers. They have to be innovators and creative problem solvers.
What happens in the eLab is the process of really thinking critically and thinking deeply, and that process is applicable or transferable across content areas.
You give kids these applications of math, and they're more likely to know why it matters.
I'm excited because, I know there's some schools that have resources like this, but I'd say most schools don't. And with using these machines and using the digital fabrication, because that's what this world's coming to.
There's a lot of new things that are related to the eLab that are out there. So if we get good at this now, we can grow our skills and then eventually work in those job areas.
I think it just allows you to try this and then try that and just put it all together and then just come out with what you really like to do.
I used to want to become a mechanic, but then that changed later on when I learned there's more to it. You have more careers, more openings, more opportunities.
Some of the projects we work on, it becomes a career exploration for students. So they get to learn about different processes and different tools and creating products and having that conversation of, hey, you actually can get paid for this, right?
When I graduate, I'm trying to go as my career field in architect, because when I took the class during my sophomore year, that's when I started falling in love with all the housing design.
These digital fabrication labs are opening up those ideas that yes, they can do it, and that these fields exist. You talk to kids who are interested in being engineers, or you even talk to kids who don't know what an engineer is. How do you explain that without showing them that they can be an engineer?
We're beginning to, I think, really expose students deeply to what the possibilities are. And we also acknowledge that we don't know what all the possibilities are, and so it's incumbent upon us to also bring in, workforce experts.
So like this one, you can see it just kind of flops, which is, it makes it lighter, but it's also makes it a little harder to use. So I can pass this around if you want.
Each school, the training that the teachers received in these labs, focused on how do you create community-informed or business-informed problems that are directly from the community that you're serving, where your students live. So teachers have developed more than 75 business partnerships across our labs.
The eLab has partners, but it has multiple partners. We're just paired with just about anybody that wants to reach out and say, hey, I have this problem, what can your eLab do to try to fix that problem?
Remember, this is going to be the inverse, right? So we got to do it backwards.
We're working with another company, or they're going to bring chocolate that they made, and they're going to give it to us, and we're going to make a mold, and then whoever's chocolate they pick, then they will sell it at their place.
Just those simple ideas, you put that into a kid's hands, you have no idea what they might come up with, and some of them are brilliant ideas.
For example, we've partnered with Siskin Children's Hospital at Normal Park, where students 3D print custom designed orthotics and adaptive devices for patients who have muscular disorders.
One of our patients, they really like to eat meat, and it's really hard to hold the fork and a knife and cut open the meat. So we made this. Basically, you put your fingers in here, and you can tear the meat just with this.
Community partners come in and say, hey, I want something student produced. And students say, hey, this is something that I can do, and people actually appreciate something I can produce, and they actually want it.
Think about the empowerment of a middle school kid, high school kid, looking at their community and thinking about ways that they can make it better.
What is your goal in the end? What does it look like? What do you want to accomplish?
I want people to open their minds up to the possibility of an eLab.
So how can you? When my kids get down here, they're sometimes going lightning fast through their work just because they want to get back down here. They can't wait to get back down here and just build something or explore something or create something.
Typically, I'm the kind of kid who enjoys school anyways, so, but
Having the E-Lab definitely made it even more enjoyable, you know, because I have something like block 1, okay, I'm gonna go and make something. You know, it's just something that I get excited for.
I think it makes it more interesting to be in here because it's not the same every time. People are like, oh, well, what are we gonna do today down here? Or how can we build this to help somebody else?
If you're just in a regular class and you're just learning, but this class it's hands-on.
Yeah.
You're actually able to experience it.
All we're gonna do right now is just take away the vinyl that we don't want. So
I know in some schools that have E-Labs, their attendance has boosted. You know, kids want to be at school. They want, because they feel part of it, right? Not just going through the motions.
And it's for kids who are good at academics and kids who are not at academics. You don't have to have a 4.0 to work in the E-Lab, you know? It's just really fun.
You know, I've been in this for a couple decades now, and I have not seen a more engaging method of helping kids understand why what it is that we're teaching in school is important. Period. This guy. And then we're going to turn those into hairlines.
I think to measure the success, I believe you measure the success in multiple ways. You measure it obviously in student achievement, but then you also measure it in, you know, I measure it qualitatively as well. I measure it in when I come in and what I see, the light in students' eyes, the excitement.
It's great when you have people from different backgrounds. You have people all over Chattanooga with this same opportunity, and you see what comes out of each one. Everything is different because there are different people at each school, and every person has their own idea or something that they want to create. And I think that's the good thing about it, because in a sense, it levels the playing field.
It just exudes, a lot of confidence in the students. They feel like they can tackle just about anything after they've seen what other students and kids do.
Okay, look what we designed.
I see the potential that kids begin to see in themselves. You know, I see not just hope, but I see really that exposure to opportunity that many times students don't see, didn't know existed.
It's so special to me because, I mean, they didn't have this up in old school, and when I transferred here, like, I immediately fell in love with this place, and just having this in the high school setting with like great teachers to explain everything, how to use it, it's just so amazing.
It's just great, you know, because I know there are so many people who don't have that opportunity, and because I do, I'm blessed, you know. I'm blessed that I took an interest in it, and I'm blessed that it was here so that I could figure out what I might want to do later in life.
I have the opportunity to do things for kids and help them figure out their place in the world. And they may not have figured that out before. We just want to set them up.
We want students, our graduates, to go into the community and make a difference as adults. And we really are giving them those skills in digital fabrication labs.
Based on the success we've had with digital fabrication labs in about 25% of our schools, it's apparent that every student in our community needs access to these labs, from kindergarten all the way through college.
My hope is that there's not a single student in Hamilton County that doesn't have access to a lab. So that's what I see down the line. I also see that we don't even know what's possible yet because the kids are dreamers, and these digital fabrication labs are where those dreams become reality, and I can't wait to see where they tell us we can go next.